What about that? Hello, everybody. Good to have you with us. Good to have you with us tonight. We want to welcome all of you who are in our virtual ballroom and want to help say hello to all of you out there who are watching through what device you are watching. I'm Leon Bibb of WKYC Channel 3. You know me. I'm working with my good friend and co-anchor tonight from WKYC, Jasmine Monroe, who is wonderful, just wonderful. Step into the light. Step into the light.
Thank you so much.
Don't let me block your key lights.
Leon, I have to actually talk about your whole tux. You look incredible. I rarely get to see you like this. It's just, a nice suit, but never in a tux, Leon, so you're looking good.
Every once in a while in a tuxedo, but look at you. Look at all the glitter on this lovely, lovely woman from WKYC. You'll see her on the morning broadcast on WKYC Channel 3. We want you to know you're in for a special experience tonight as we commemorate this 40th anniversary. Pay tribute to the founders of BPACF. Salute all of our past Black Professional of the Year people and hear extraordinary stories from some of our BPACF scholars. And most importantly, we're going to raise some money tonight because that's what it's all about, helping young African American students get off to college, right?
Yes, definitely. College is extremely important. We're honored to be hosting this epic occasion. If you're just tuning in, please share the link with your family and friends. We ask you to join us for the rest of the night. This is a historical night. We want to talk about how this is a virtual celebration, hence to all of the technical difficulties. We're working through that. Leon, we know how that happens in TV, so it's
happens
real.
Every night,
this is real life.
Every day.
No one knows what happens behind the scenes, but it's chaos, but it's organized chaos, so we got through this. All right, now throughout the night, we will showcase our giving thermometer, right? You have to pay attention to this, which will be highlighted with our sponsors, our patrons, and our online audience as you give to this occasion. Now, let us tell you how to give right now. This is the important part. You can take out your phones, or you can go on to BPACF Cash App, or you can go, one second, I want to give you the specifics. Here we go, right here?
Right here,
okay.
Right here.
All right, so you can go to the Cash App. I want to give you the exact Cash App that you can go to, and it's the $BPACF 40, or you can go to bpacf.org/donate. Now, any amount will help us get to our goal of $40,000. Now, let's see where we are right now. Can we take a look at that? All right, $1,500, not bad.
Keep on going. Let's keep on going. We're climbing.
All right. Now, we are doing all things social tonight, so if you are watching via YouTube, please subscribe and make sure you follow us on WKYC, or excuse me, I'm so used to saying, that's my little shout out to WKYC right there. I'm so used to saying follow us on our link, but yeah, so just take a look at Facebook and everything that's happening here on Instagram as we are following through with everything. Our gala is very interactive tonight. Due to COVID-19, we could not gather as we would love to have, but we are connected virtually where we're sending virtual hugs, and we want to hear from you. So make sure on Facebook you tag us in those pictures and you make sure you show us exactly what you're wearing. Hopefully, you guys at home got dressed up too, because it feels good to get dressed up again.
It feels good to get dressed up, especially during these times when you can get out and really see some nice things and dress up. So we appreciate you being with us on this one.
All right, so let us know where you're at in the city and where you're watching from. Start watching the party on Facebook and take a selfie, like I said, and upload it to our Instagram and tag us, and we will try to get it on so you can see that too. So, Leon?
All right. To commence our virtual gala experience tonight, we have the soulful sounds of Hub's Groove. We welcome Hub's Groove as they render us a selection of our Black national anthem, which is Lift Every Voice and Sing, led by the vocalist Ms. Ariel Green. And this moment will also include a tribute to our deceased Black Professional of the Year, people who've won over the years. So feel free to sing along at home. Now here is Hub's Groove.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring with the harmonies of liberty. slaughtered out from the gloomy past, till now we stand at last where the white gleam of our bright star is cast. Thank you. We will now have our invocation by Pastor Cherise Henderson.
Let us pray. Heavenly Father, thank you for every seat that has been filled, both physically and virtually here today. For each mind and heart that feels the presence of these rooms, we thank you. Only you truly know what we are setting out to accomplish today. We have an idea, a vision, hints, and daily instructions. We have talents, abilities, and time to work. However, only you can see in perfect detail the end of every beginning, every project, every season, every life. Nothing is ever in vain, for even mistakes and missteps are used for your good. Your righteousness transcends all our efforts and understanding. Forgive us for our pride, the pride that puffs up and the pride that threatens to unqualify us. Strengthen our confidence in who you have made us to be. Set us free from comparison in order to work together efficiently. Bless this gala today, O Lord. All those present, as well as the lives of those we will encounter afterwards. Ready us to make every moment count. We ask these things in Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Now back to our gala ballroom as we welcome Meltrice Sharp, BPACF's Board President.
Thank you, Pastor Cherise, for that beautiful invocation. Good evening. On behalf of the board of BPACF, I would like to welcome you to the 40th Virtual Anniversary Scholarship and Awards Gala. Thank you for graciously spending your evening with us. There are many people who've worked tirelessly to make this evening possible. To our founders, Nancella Harris, Arthur Baker, and the late Tanya Almond, we thank you for bringing the purpose of this great organization into existence. To our sponsors, we thank you for your generous contributions, which have allowed us to host this year's event free to the community to enjoy and provide our students and aspiring professionals the support they need as they pursue their educational and professional endeavors. To my fellow board members, both past and present, thank you for serving with us diligent and with dedication to the success of this organization. Your commitment is retooling the work of BPACF to remain relevant and elevate our great organization. To Karen Marshall, our Executive Director, thank you for your stellar work ethic and commitment to BPACF. To our vendors, you have gone over and above to make sure this day is amazing. Doctors R.A. and Lady Vernon, thank you for allowing us to use this beautiful facility that is home to the Word Church. Tonight, we are humbled to commemorate the men and women who have paved the way, made extraordinary sacrifices, overcame significant hurdles, blazed trails, and knocked down doors so that you and I can take advantage of every opportunity to pursue excellence and prosperity in this country. These individuals are worth not just a night of celebration, but worthy of 40 years of recognition, black tie galas, and parties with a purpose. To each and every one of you, our Black Professionals of the Year, our lifetime achievers, and our scholars, thank you for being the inspiration behind the work that we do. Since the inception of BPACF, we have awarded over $3.5 million in scholarship. That's right, I said $3.5 million in scholarships, with more than 70% of that funding going to first-generation Black college students. These extraordinary young people have overcome tremendous disparities and are still able to matriculate through college successfully. As stewards of their career development, we must recognize that the struggles we face in the workplace are the same struggles they face in the classroom. Against all odds, Black scholars and professionals face a lack of diversity, discrimination, racism, and inequality. It is unfortunate but true that we have grown used to being the odd person at the table and in the workplace. We have normalized being the other and are still perceived in some situations as an uninvited guest. If 2020, as our community and our country are facing a global pandemic, and America is finally leading the international push for social justice, has taught the world one thing about the state of Black America. It has taught the world that the time of atonement for the mistreatment of people of color has finally come, whether we are ready for it or not. BPACF and the work that we do is more important now than ever before. Not because the negative effects of racism have changed, but the willingness of the world to ignore our struggle is slowly starting to change. We cannot do this work alone. It takes a village to raise the next generation, and we need the tools, gifts, resources, and intellect that you have to achieve a greater life for everyone. Please consider supporting our work by becoming a volunteer, attending our professional development events, and by donating tonight. Our 40 for 40 campaign is an easy way to help us achieve our fundraising goal. To donate your $40 gift, please use the BPACF cash tag or go to bpacf.org. bpacf.org/donate. Gifts of all sizes will help us remain strong and viable as an organization for many more years to come. We thank you in advance for your giving, and thank you for giving meaningfully and generously. BPACF was founded by three remarkable individuals, Nancella Harris, Arthur Baker, and the late Tanya Almond. Let's take a look at how it all began.
In 1985, there were all kinds of things going on in Cleveland as it related to a network of Black professionals. I can remember the editor of the Calling Post, the head of the Urban League, the head of the NAACP, meeting together and talking about how they could advance and promote Black leadership in many of these companies and organizations, because that's what was happening in the world. Blacks were rising. We needed to see how we were going to do it in Cleveland, Ohio. Our organization had over 100 members. It was a network. And we were called upon to have a speaker come in, to talk about the issues that were going on in Cleveland.
And back during that time, there were some phrases to describe young black professionals, and they were called buppies. And, that was Black upwardly bound professionals. And it was a time when still in this city, and quite honestly in the country, the establishment often said, we can't locate Blacks to fill certain jobs. And unfortunately, that still goes on today. But as an organization, we tried to function on what we called CIA. And that was communication, information, and association. We wanted to get to know each other and have a base so that we would be able to fill some of the jobs that were becoming available in corporate America back in the 80s, quite honestly back to the 70s and even the 60s. But we also had a saying that we tried to advance among ourselves and that we tried to profess externally, and that was a commitment to excellence. Just a basic commitment to excellence, and it meant a lot of different things. It didn't necessarily have to do with academics. It didn't have to do, quite honestly, with professionals like doctors, lawyers, etc. It just meant being the best that you could be and doing the best job that you could do in your chosen field. A commitment to excellence.
And networking was an important area for us. We felt it was important because there's strength in numbers and there's strength in communicating. And that's what a network does. You have things in common, you come together, you share information, and you try to also bring about change. So that network was crucial to the beginning of this organization. And I think we had a very wide span. And at one time, we had over 250 members in our organization. So we spread out over the community professionally, and it made a difference in terms of what we talked about in our other organizations and what we brought back to BPACF.
BPACF was actually a subcommittee. It was just a subcommittee.
No, it wasn't a subcommittee.
Yeah,
I don't call it a subcommittee.
Well, it was a committee.
It was an outgrowth. We developed it with our 501c3 in 1985. Okay. See, I can talk like that, but I still need my notes.
Yeah. I told you, you talk from here, see.
Okay.
Okay, I want to take us back a little bit. BPACF was founded in 1985. The organization, BPA, was actually founded in 1977.
Right.
And it was at the request of Bill Wolf, who was then the executive director of the Urban League of Greater Cleveland. And he called together a group of people. I don't know the exact number, maybe 40, 50 black professionals. And we had dialogue about what we could do to have a social, political, and economic impact in the city of Cleveland. And from that beginning, we had other meetings, and we incorporated the Black Professionals Association. And the Black Professionals Association was an organization committed again to this concept of CIA, Communication Information Association, and basically networking among young black professionals. That right, Nan?
Yeah, it was a strong network, and at some point, it even got into the number of 200 people. So we had a span across all professions, all age groups, really. And this was a group that met together, that talked together. Now that group also had a president, actually chairman, vice chairman, had directors. They had directors that had committees in communications and marketing. We had a newsletter. They had all kinds of ways of talking to each other and talking to the community. And that was an important base for BPA. And when you remember the activities and so forth of BPA, you know, which really got us moving in this community.
Right.
Yeah.
We had, from 77 forward, we had president for 2 years, and that was Alan Chatine. We had a president for another 2 years, and that was Ed Young. I was the third chairperson of BPA, and that was from the year 1982 to 1984. Tanya Allman, who was also a founding member, was my vice president, and she took over for me in 1984. And as we worked through it, we saw a need to formalize some of our activities, and that's when the formulation of the foundation really started to come into being.
Well, we had reached $25,000 in income from our fundraiser. We were doing the fundraiser, honoring black professionals, and using that money to give to students. for scholarship purposes. And we had to have 501c3. Tanya was an extremely smart person. She was civic-minded. She was, to me, a mover and a shaker. She knew how to bring people together and rally them. Very strategic thinker, and she said, we need to do something different. She called two of her board members, Art and myself, at that time and said, we need to talk about a 501c3 and forming a foundation. It was the thought. We worked with our board. That was an extreme change because we were talking about taking and creating another organization on top of an organization. Turned out beautifully because we had all of those committees that were working in BPA. We didn't have to duplicate them. What we were able to do was concentrate on raising the dollars for scholarship and seeing that organizations and schools of higher education receive that money. So it was just an exciting time that when we were able to move to another level and really have an organization sort of in an organization. You have to be careful with things like that too. But this group of people, very dynamic organization, bought into the concept.
So that's kind of the development and the creation of BPACF, the Black Professionals Association's Charitable Foundation.
Very, very nice. Nancella Harris and Art Baker, thank you for that walk down memory lane. We appreciate it. We appreciate everything that they have done and appreciate what they continue to do. Isn't it wonderful to have them talking about the great things that BPA has done, the BPACF, the foundation, has done. Well, ladies and gentlemen, tonight we are privileged to have another great person with us, one of the really gemstones of Cleveland, Ohio. He's a good friend of mine, certainly probably a good friend of yours as well. Chris Ronayne, president of University Circle Incorporated. Give him a warm welcome, won't you? Chris Ronayne.
Leon, I miss you. For those who don't know, Leon and I have had the pleasure to be together for about the last 15 years at Wade Oval Wednesdays. The closest I am home to Wade Oval Wednesdays tonight is you and Hub's Groove. Thank you guys. You guys are wonderful. It's good to be with everybody tonight, and I am really, really glad to be here. It's humbling and an honor to be a co-chair today for BPACF. And I'm going to, as I'm prompted, go off some of my prompted remarks because this is from the heart. But I have to say thank you also to Jasmine Monroe from WKYC. You're a lifeline, literally and figuratively. Thanks for all you do in this community, and thanks for all you do tonight with BPACF. Also, someone who we cannot give enough thanks to, Meltrice Sharp, our board president. Thank you for putting on this 40th anniversary. What a show. Thank you, Meltrice. And her executive director, Karen Marshall, thank you for what you do. Also out in the background is Tynese Wingfield for putting this on tonight. Thank you. We are in challenging times, and especially in challenging health times and challenging times in our nation. As we heal and hope to continue to heal, this feels good tonight. And it's good to be at the Word Church. Thank you, Pastor Henderson, earlier, and also virtual greetings to the amazing Reverend Doctors Vernon and Vernon, Pastor R.A. Vernon and Lady Victory Vernon. Thank you for all you do at the Word Church and well beyond. I also have to give a thanks to my friend Hilton Smith. He's the first one who called me and asked me if I would do this. And I said, Hilton, of course, for you as a friend, but for the importance of this organization. It's also nice to be here tonight with my wife, Natalie Ronayne, who's been at my side ever since we were married, and we've worked together at City Hall and in University Circle, raising kids here in the city of Cleveland. I love you. Congratulations to all Black professionals of the year who've been making Cleveland and Northeast Ohio proud these last 40 years. Hats off to the founders, Nancella Harris, Art Baker, and to our dear late friend, Tanya Almond, who those of us in the community development world in Cleveland knew so well. She was a guiding light for all of us, and she did her work with such style. Tanya, you were an inspiration to the neighborhood advocates throughout this city. It's truly an honor to serve this year as a co-chair, also with a good friend of mine, also from our days of City Hall, who I worked with at City Hall, was Lorna Wisham, who I had the distinct pleasure to serve in the Cleveland City Administration. And with that, I want to virtually introduce my friend, my co-chair, Lorna, who is zooming in with us tonight with a video greeting. Take a look.
Thank you, Chris, and good evening, everyone. I'm Lorna Wisham, Vice President of Corporate Affairs and Community Involvement at First Energy and President of the First Energy Foundation. Tonight, I join my co-chair, Chris Ronayne, in welcoming you to the virtual celebration for the Black Professionals Association Charitable Foundation's 40th anniversary. Considering the historic week we have had electing the first Black woman Vice President of the United States, I am truly honored to co-chair tonight's event, recognizing Black excellence. As we near the end of an incredibly challenging year, the COVID-19 pandemic illuminated the economic disparities that exist within our community and across our country. I applaud BPACF's longstanding commitment to providing opportunities for young adults through scholarship, education, and leadership. BPACF's mission to provide scholarship support and professional opportunities for Black students is more crucial now than ever before in helping them build better pathways to stronger, more fulfilling and successful futures. Tonight, we honor all past Black Professional of the Year honorees and BPACF scholars for their career accomplishments, civic contributions, and community engagement efforts. I am privileged to say that I know many of the Black professional honorees very well. This esteemed list includes my pastor, 2 former bosses, past and current nonprofit board leaders, my Blacks in Management family, my sister friends, neighbors, and mentors, community leaders that have paved the way for the next generation of Black professionals in Cleveland, community leaders that have paved the way for me. I thank each of you for your decades of leadership and your ongoing support of young professionals. I especially want to thank the 2005 BPACF honoree, David Whitehead, retired Vice President and Corporate Secretary at First Energy, who was recruited to the Illuminating Company and mentored by my father, Clay Wisham, and who in turn recruited me to First Energy and still mentors me today. For nearly 20 years, First Energy and the First Energy Foundation have supported BPACF. We care deeply about the prosperity and sustainability of Greater Cleveland and are dedicated to supporting organizations that ensure educational and professional development opportunities are available to everyone. We're grateful for your organization's community leadership and applaud your success and commitment to building a bright future for the next generation. Thank you again for having me tonight, and congratulations to all of the past Black Professionals of the Year and BPACF scholars. Cleveland is blessed to have you. Now back to you, Chris, in the Gala Ballroom.
It is good to see you virtually, Lorna, and it's so important for all of us in this room and all of us out watching at home to understand the mission, the history, and the future of BPACF. Over the years, this organization has raised more than $3.5 million in scholarship funds to send deserving students to college. I want to tell you again, a little off script from my remarks, a couple of personal stories. One, I want to tell you the story of a student we had as a summer intern in University Circle through our Future Connections program. She'd received a scholarship to The Ohio State University. Her name is Sian Blackwell of Maple Heights. You might know her mom, the mayor of Maple Heights, Annette Blackwell. Sian and I were having an exit interview after she'd worked the summer at our organization in University Circle. I asked Sian, so after this internship, where do you want to take your career? And she said, I want to be on the Supreme Court. I said, no, make no small plans. Go at it. And she said, I will. I intend to be there. Less than 6 months later, I got a call from Sian at Ohio State. It was about, I think, just after the Thanksgiving holiday. And she said, I have news. I said, what is it? She said, I'm heading to the Supreme Court. I said, what do you mean? I mean, you just got to college. You're a freshman at college. She said, yep, I got my first job working as a summer associate with the Ohio Supreme Court. This, folks, is why we do this. And I said to her, you work fast, but never underestimate how the dollars you raise tonight for scholarship can change a life. And never underestimate the power of a conversation you might have with a student that will change their life. I benefited from a conversation in our community with a leader that changed my life. That leader was Mayor Carl Stokes. In the 1990s, I was a graduate student at the CSU Levin College, and Mayor Stokes had been invited to Professor Norm Krumholtz's class as a guest lecturer. This was at a time when Carl was at home in Cleveland just before taking on his position as U.S. Ambassador to Seychelles. I was a grad assistant, and he had lectured, and after the class, he was walking out. So I took a chance. I stopped him in the aisle on his way out the class, and I said, Mayor Stokes, would you ever have time for coffee with a student? He said, sure. Meet me Saturday at the Arabica on Shaker Square. True leaders make time for the next generation. That's what Carl Stokes did for me. 30 minutes with Carl Stokes motivated me for a career in public service to Cleveland. And that's what your leadership and mentoring does for the young scholars of BPACF. Thanks for giving your time, your treasure, and your mentorship. On behalf of myself and Lorna and the host committee, we congratulate you, BPACF, for your exceptional role to the community and after 40 years of providing that scholarship, leadership, and professional development. Thank you. Before I take my seat, let's take a look at how our thermometer's doing and see how much more closer we are to achieving today's goal. And you know what? That's going to keep climbing. Keep giving to those students $5,000. We've been climbing. Thanks, everybody. Leon, I'm giving it back to you. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Chris. Chris Ronayne, ladies and gentlemen, one of the gemstones of Greater Cleveland. Oh, it's wonderful. Many, many thanks, Chris. Thank you so much. And look at the donations coming in. We really appreciate the way that you are giving. It is all important about what we are trying to do around here as we raise the thermometer. I know in this day and age, we want our body thermometers to be at a regular level, but here financially, we want to raise the mercury in the thermometer for our donations coming in. Thank you so much for what you're doing and what you will do. We appreciate that. Look at those donations coming in. Now let's hear from one of our Black Professional of the Years from the 1980s decade. Yes, the 1980s. We're going to go a little back in time, but this gentleman's body of work started long before the 1980s. A theologian, a civil rights icon, a man who was the associate pastor alongside the Reverend Martin Luther King in Atlanta, Georgia. And he shared a very close personal relationship with the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King. My friend and your friend, let's hear from the Reverend Dr. Otis Moss.
I am Otis Moss, Jr., Pastor Emeritus, Olivet Institutional Baptist Church. At the time that I was honored in the early 80s, 1983, I believe, one of the third honorees in the series of programs, I was the active senior pastor of the Olivet Institutional Baptist Church, among other things, one of which was a member of the Board of Trustees of Morehouse College, later to become chair of that board. When we look at the purpose of the Black Professionals Association and the things they do, the people they bring together, and the cause or causes they celebrate, I think one of the great contributions is lifting up the visions, hopes, and dreams of young people, especially those pursuing a higher education, because education and liberation can never be separated. And I commend the organization for what it does and for what it encourages in that area or in those areas over the last 40 years and commend you, BPA, and hope that you will be doing this for the next 40 years. I won't be around to join these celebrations 40 years from now, but my spirit will rejoice with you. When I think, about the honor that I received almost 40 years ago, the third honoree, I do not think of myself as the single honoree. I think of my parents, my ancestors, my family, present and future, and the congregation. I was privileged to serve for 33 years, so it was not just an honor coming to me. It was really an honor to all of the above, plus those who will come after me and do a much greater job. So no one should ever look upon an honor as a single focus on himself or herself, but an honor to all of those individuals and institutions who have lifted you up and opened doors, pushed you on, and even sent blessings your way that you may not know of, names that you cannot call. That is really the foundation and the essence of a single honor. Not one person, but many persons and programs and individuals whose names may never be known, but they are the honorees in a particular honor. I would say that we always need those encouraging, empowering, enhancing forces in our community. And the Black Professionals Association has chosen to be one of those powerful instruments lifting up a special kind of excellence, achievement, hopes, dreams, and aspirations. Another way of saying we can, we must, we will. And as I have said many times, we must say to each other and to those who come after us that in your time, in your space, by God's grace, you can, you must, you are called to make a difference. And that's what BPA is doing, and that's what every honoree can and should be doing until our day is done.
We thank you, Reverend Dr. Otis Moss, for your remarks and reflections. I am Karen Marshall, the Executive Director of the Black Professionals Association Charitable Foundation. I am here tonight to talk about BPACF's programs and services. But before I do, let's take a look at our giving thermometer as the donations are pouring in. We're doing great, so let's keep it going so that we can reach our goal. I also want to thank our core of volunteers who work tirelessly to ensure our events, such as the Gala, are top-notch. Thank you, BPACF family of volunteers. The mission of the Black Professionals Association Charitable Foundation is to create opportunities for African American professionals by providing scholarship, leadership, professional, and career development. Our vision is to be a catalyst that prepares and develops emerging professionals, celebrates distinguished leaders, and elevates our community. BPACF programming and services for college students, young and seasoned professionals, and accomplished leaders. Are you aware that in Cuyahoga County, less than 30% of all residents hold a bachelor's degree or higher? In the city of Cleveland, that number drops to roughly 14%. And today, more employers require a 4-year degree as a way to ensure they are attracting employees with not only strong hard skills, but also more sophisticated soft skills. BPACF addresses these disparities with a continuum of services, starting with our Scholars and Youth programs. Through our Scholars program, BPACF awards 40 to 50 college students up to $2,000 per year with a renewable scholarship to attend an institution of their choice. Scholars remain in contact with BPACF staff and volunteers for academic support, coaching, and development. To date, BPACF has awarded over $3.5 million in scholarships, and many of our scholars are first in their immediate family to attend and graduate from college. Our College to Career series is a collection of events designed to encourage local youth toward a commitment to college completion, academic success, and career advancement. The Career Connect internship program matches students with an internship opportunity that closely aligns with their college major, enabling them to gain real-world experience in their career field. The interns also receive mentoring from local executives, BPACF board members, and volunteers. These programs are key in developing youth for their future careers. But BPACF programs and services are not just for college-age students. Throughout the history of the organization, BPACF has provided a platform for individuals of all career endeavors, opportunities to enhance their leadership, business acumen, and develop professional networks through our Professional Development Leadership Speaker Series and Nights Out Networking Social Mixers. The third area of BPACF services is to recognize outstanding leaders of our community for their professional accomplishments, civic engagement, and personal standards of excellence. Through the Black Professionals of the Year Award and the Lifetime Achievers Award, we honor Black professionals, many of whom are trailblazers and have cracked and crashed glass ceilings and paved the way for the younger professionals coming behind them. And for our millennials, BPACF has created Trendsetters Award to recognize young professionals on the move who are innovators, positioning themselves to make a huge impact within our community. Our country is experiencing the worst global pandemic of our times and a new reckoning of social justice and racial equity. With such great uncertainty and daily change, BPACF has met the challenges and adapted new ways of operating by pivoting our traditional programs to a virtual platform and providing mentorship for our scholars as they adjust to the changing norms of pursuing their education. BPACF's mission, our programs and services could not be more relevant at this time. Now we have some outstanding scholars and some who will now share some of their experiences and how BPACF has benefited them. Let's take a look.
Hi, my name is Jaquan Prim. I've attended Baldwin Wallace University and I've majored in business management. Graduated this year in the year 2020, and I've been a BPACF scholarship recipient since 2016.
So my name is Ayana Clemente. I attend Tennessee State University. My major is aeronautical and industrial technology with a concentration in aviation management. I'm in my senior year at TSU, and I began the BPACF program my freshman year, which was in 2017. So that's when I received the scholarship.
Okay, well, my name is Douglas Burnett. I am a sophomore political science major at Morehouse College, and I received this opportunity to be a Black Professionals Association Charitable Foundation Scholar in my freshman year of going into college, so that was in the fall of 2019.
My name is Yvette Hamilton, and I am Autumn Hamilton's mom.
My name is Autumn Hamilton. I attend Clark Atlanta University in Atlanta, Georgia, and I'm currently a junior, and I became a scholarship recipient in 2019.
It felt amazing to be not only accepted but supported by the BPACF association, not only financially but also receiving guidance through my college and professional career, being able to attend workshops, learning as a freshman how to communicate with my peers, with my professors on a professional level.
When I received the BPACF scholarship, I was so blessed because I needed help with my tuition. So being able to receive the scholarship has definitely been helpful in regards to paying for school. It's definitely been a direct asset to me being able to attend TSU, and the internship opportunity was amazing. I was able to get experience since my freshman year of college, so it's definitely been very helpful for me.
When I attained this scholarship, I was not only thankful, but I was grateful. Many people may not know, but Morehouse was my dream school, and Morehouse is quite expensive, and so my dream was going to be diminished if I didn't have the appropriate financial resources in order to embark on that educational journey. So when I received this scholarship, it helped me pay for things like books, helped me pay for things like, just supplies that I needed for my dorm and things like that nature.
The reason why it's important to have an organization such as BPACF to be behind young scholars and their advancement, it's really a big thing is confidence. Having the confidence to not only navigate through college, but also the professional field. Talking with credible, not only scholars, but colleagues of, the industry, you tend to gain much insight and much value that you can really bring to any type of organization that you go into.
It's so important to have an organization like BPACF to provide educational, professional experiences for young African American students, because at the end of the day, we have to support each other. There's not very many opportunities like this out there, and for them to open doors as far as internships and scholarship money to be able to keep students in school is very important, because I know if it hadn't been for BPACF, I wouldn't have had this opportunity to continue school and to get this professional experience that I've received. So I definitely think it's important, and it needs to continue.
Well, I think this organization and definitely organizations like these are important because Black students, is definitely not obvious. We don't get a lot of opportunities as much as other races. I think it's incredibly hard as Black students is because people just don't tell us about scholarships, people don't tell us about opportunities, people don't tell us about a lot of things that can help us in our college careers, because we have a lot of people that don't go to college. And so I think these are definitely important in that aspect, because we just don't get the same advantages as other students do.
Well, the BPACF, in my opinion, is a model organization, especially for African Americans and Black individuals. Attending HBCU, we're taught, and that's not necessarily a good thing, but we have to be 10 times better than our counterparts. Though we may have the same credentials, though we may have attended the same institutions, and though we both may have the same degrees, just because of the color of our skin, we can be limited to certain opportunities as opposed to what they may obtain. So what I feel like the Black Professionals Association does is not only encourages, but it catapults individuals and gives them the experience, the credentials, the knowledge, the leadership skills to not only go out here, but to be better than their counterparts so they can obtain these opportunities. And it's really amazing to see Black people come together and, all work for the greater and common good of progressing ourselves within society.
Some advice that I would have for future BPACF students and recipients would be to definitely take full advantage of all of the resources that are available to them. BPACF has provided seminars, mentors for every student to be able to take advantage of to further their careers and things like that. So I definitely think that being a part of this program is going to ultimately help you. So it's definitely something that you want to make sure that you're doing to the fullest and putting all of your effort into.
Some advice to give to young scholars coming up today is to, one, really take advantage of your resources and your opportunities that you are given within not only the organization of BPACF, but anywhere.
My plans to advance the mission of BPACF is definitely to accomplish my goals and get to the place that I envision myself at. I think that the only way that you can truly prove that we're working towards something and that we're actually accomplishing things is to have a clear model of who came before, you know? So I feel like that's the only way you can really prove it or truly advance the mission is by proving that, you know, progress is being done. My name is Autumn Hamilton and I'm a BPACF scholar.
Hi everyone, my name is Ayana Clemente and I am a BPACF scholar.
Wow, thank you, Autumn, Jaquan, Ayana, and Douglas. We appreciate you sharing your story with us and our journey, your journey as well. I think it's very important to hear perspectives from students to figure out exactly what happens after you do receive that scholarship. So thank you so much. BPACF has a long, rich history in the Cleveland community. They are able to carry out the mission and the legacy of their founders from generous donations from many of you here in this room. So tonight, and watching, of course, as well virtually, let's take another look at that thermometer. How is the donations coming in? $12,560. That's spectacular. That's well done. Our live audience, how are you guys doing over there? You doing good? All right, guys, thank you so much for hanging in there with us. It's definitely been a long night. So we have some more great features to show you tonight. So please join me in as we take a look and salute some of our BPOYs of the 1990s decade. Leon took it back to the 80s. I'm taking it to the 90s.
My name is Gloria Pace King. I was honored by BPA in 1990, and at that time, I was the vice president at United Way Services in Cleveland, Ohio.
My name is Alexandria Johnson-Boone. I am the president and CEO of Gap Communications Group, as well as the chairwoman and founder of the Women of Color Foundation, and I was the 1994 honoree.
I am Jerry Sue Thornton, former president of Cuyahoga Community College, and currently I have my own company, Dreamcatcher Educational Services. I was so thrilled to have been recognized in 1999 by BPACF. What an honor it was. I had been president for 7 years and had an opportunity to get into the community, particularly the Black community, and to engage in a lot of wonderful activities to benefit our young people. And this was an honor to be recognized in that way.
Well, the Black Professionals Association Charitable Foundation has been trying to raise funds for scholarships for African American students for a number of years. But given the situation and circumstances that we're in now, it's more important than ever because the pool of money available to students of African descent is diminishing, and then the number of students that need that support is increasing. So we have to step up and we have to take care of our young people. So we have to be actively involved in fundraising for the Charitable Foundation. Okay, so as an example, because of COVID, so many of the corporate foundations have been directing their funding to COVID initiatives. And I completely understand that. But I'm hoping that now, based on the fact that there's so many other things going on, I mean, we have another pandemic. We have a racial injustice pandemic going on as well. And I'm hoping that corporations will understand that it's important to embrace diversity and inclusion, but we need to make sure that we're allocating funds for these students coming along behind us, because these kids one day are going to graduate, they're going to be brilliant, and these corporations they're going to be looking for talent. And if they help support the education, provide these young people with internships and scholarships and help us do what we do, it's better for everybody.
I think what we need to be talking about is volunteerism. If people are taught to volunteer, fundraising is just a subset of a specific kind of volunteerism. I would not have gotten that award had I not been a volunteer. And my volunteer work included chairing this event. I chaired it twice before I received it. And I also was the first president of the Western Reserve Chapter of Links in Cleveland. I was one of the members that started the Coalition of 100 Black Women in Cleveland. I chaired Salutation, created and chaired Salutation and won awards for that event for the United Negro College Fund. All of these efforts give you an opening into people and opportunities and understanding why there's a need to fundraise. If you don't volunteer, you don't know why you're fundraising. You don't have a reason for fundraising, and most important, you don't get to see the outcomes of your fundraising.
When you think about how many talented young African Americans in our community who don't have the means to access higher education, with the help of BPACF, our young people can realize their dreams. And by them realizing their dreams, it only makes our community stronger.
What I think is it's important for them to not just see the opportunities in terms of careers and vocations, but they need to see positive role models. I think it's important that I love our athletes. I used to work for a major athlete, but it's not just about sports. It's about education. We have incredible academic role models, medical role models, entrepreneurs. We have to help our young people understand the importance of building a business that they could pass along to their family, to their kids when they grow up and have kids and they want to start a business, they can pass it along. One of the things in our community, we don't do a lot of generational wealth. We don't talk about or think about having businesses that might last 100 years or 50 years, and we look at other communities and that's what they do. They start out thinking about, how can I build this amazing business that I can pass down to my children?
To be the Black Professional of the Year in 1990 was special for a lot of reasons. One, Nelson Mandela was released that year, and I was able to talk about that in my speech. I just felt I was really special because I got to give a speech at the same time that Nelson Mandela was released, and that captured, you know, his efforts and what he had gone through was known globally. And so just to have a little piece in my history that I could selfishly attach myself to Nelson Mandela was really good. I was blown away by it, to tell you the truth, because I had chaired it. I really hadn't thought of being the honoree because I had honored people in my role as the chair. But I feel like I wasn't going to get it because everybody that got it wasn't from Cleveland. Everybody that got it before me had really big jobs and they had come from other places, and I didn't think this little girl who grew up in Glenville was ever going to get an award like this. So it was super special for me because I was the first person that was born and raised and never left Cleveland to get that award.
Fundraising resources are extremely important in achieving our goals. And I know that BPACF needs to make sure that this organization has money to move forward with its goals. Great strategic plans can only be realized with the funds available. And the goal of helping young African Americans achieve their dreams through scholarships, through attendance of universities and colleges, can only be realized by funds. And so we must all work together to make sure that those dollars are there and that we are participating in the future of our young people.
I'm Alexandria Johnson-Boone, the 1994 Black Professional of the Year. And on behalf of all of the honorees for the 1990s, I say thank you. And now, back to the BPA Gala Ballroom.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I know you're inspired by what you just saw. I'm sitting here almost in tears because I'm thinking back on my own life, how inspirations came to me as a youngster growing up in this city, and how those inspirations continue in me right now. We can be inspirations for that next generation. So please remember to give, because we're really setting these young people on a course into the next generation. We're going to launch them like arrows into the next generation. So that's what it's really all about. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to hear your voices. BPACF staff and volunteers put a lot of time and a lot of energy into this event, and we'd like to hear your feedback about what you think about what we're doing right today. Please complete an online evaluation survey. The link is at the BPACF website. Scholarships are just one way to yield our support to our students. We have one scholar who has studied through an extraordinary journey of study with the BPACF, and he's here to tell us all about it. Here is Anthony Scott.
Question asked is, what would I do, or what do I plan to do to further BPACF's mission? And I think to give context, I have to kind of talk about my journey just a little bit. In my case, graduated from Shaw High School and then went to the military for 8 years. And when I was in the military is when I started my college education. Fast forward, came back home to Cleveland and was the first person in my family to graduate with an undergraduate degree, and then was able to obtain my master's degree and my law degree. When I was in law school is when I had the first opportunity to be exposed to BPACF, and have been involved largely in one capacity or another in the last more than almost 15 years in one capacity or another. Starting off as a scholarship recipient, then as a volunteer on the Gala, and again, having served for the last 4 years as a board member, and now even chairing a committee, chairing the governance chair. Why do I say all of that? I say all of that because to whom much is given, much is due. So in my journey, I've been blessed to come very much full circle, first generation college, and then to go on to obtain a professional degree. And in helping me get that professional degree was the assistance of BPA. The financial piece was important, don't get me wrong. Those checks came in great. I remember hazing Nan that I needed my check, and she made sure that Rylan, who's one of the trustees at the time, met me at the bookstore, and we carried those books to the counter, and he pulled out a BPACF credit card, whereas the traditional process was to send a check to the students. But they were responsive to my needs, knowing that I didn't have the months to wait, well, not months, but the weeks to wait for a check to go through the traditional path. So they were responsive to my needs. So I remembered that. I remembered that going forward. They were responsive to my needs the second year and the third year as well. A large part of the network that I developed came from being a Gala speaker, the student Gala speaker in 2007 when we were at the Renaissance Hotel. You know, I'm cognizant of that. I'm cognizant of when Dr. Charlene, and Lord forgive me, I forget her last name, but Dr. Charlene would sit with us and have etiquette classes. Again, even though I was a little bit older than a lot of the other students, that wasn't something that I had been exposed to in my life. So again, and I can sit here and teach you an etiquette class now. I can tell you which fork. I can tell you the proper way to shake a man's hand, the proper way to shake a female's hand, so that you're respective of her being your equal, but that you're not crushing her hand. You know, things of that nature that you pick up, those little jewels that you pick up along the way. Those are things that I got in part directly or in part from BPACF. So again, to whom much is given, much is due. So if I was able to receive all of those lessons, all of those benefits, then who am I not to pay them back to the next group? You know, whether it's, and I want to be clear, whether it's through BPA or whether through any other engagement that I have, mentorship is huge to me. We're talking high school kids, we're talking young collegiate students, we're talking young professionals, 25, 35, 45. If I have something that I can give to them and or that they can give to me, then it's incumbent upon me to give it back to them. You know, if I was to ever occupy a position of arrogance that I got this way by myself, then I'm pretty sure the Lord would correct my mindset so that I wouldn't think it for much longer. So because of that, I do appreciate what others have done for me, what this organization has done for me. And that's why I still give it the time that I do, give it the time, the talent, and the treasure, if you would. And that's what I hope that our other students do. You know, if you received a scholarship from BPACF, if you were honored as a trendsetter, if you were a BPOY, that you remember this organization. You don't just toss it up on the shelf and forget about it. You remember us, you remember our mission, and you make sure that you come back and you are impactful in the lives of other people beyond just yourself. It's that duty. It's your duty. So that's it.
What a wonderful reflection from Anthony Scott. He embodies our true importance of how your contributions have tremendously impacted the process of being a student and then a scholar and now a member of the board. It brings me back, you know, Leon was talking about how mentorship was very important. When I was 15 years old, I'm from Pittsburgh, so don't hold it against me. I'm from Pittsburgh, and I was a part of many programs. My mom made sure I was involved in a lot of programs, but since I was young, I knew that I wanted to be a reporter. I wanted to deliver news that was fair and balanced. My mom works for a radio station in Pittsburgh called KDK Radio, and it was always important to me to make sure I knew what I was doing when I went to college. So I immediately started what I wanted to do, all because of mentorship. Make sure you read the bulletin boards when you do go to college and things like that you don't know when you're going, but you learn from mentors. So it's extremely important, and reasons why events like this are so important. So thank you so much for the folks who are at home, folks who are still hanging on in there here for tonight. So this night is so exciting, and as you can see, our live audience is still having a blast, right guys? You are. They're commenting on social media and while listening to the illustrations and the sounds and the talented band of Hubs Groove. I do love them. So we are not done yet. We have another salute to one of our BPOYs from 2004, Pastor Hilton Smith. Let's take a look.
My name is Reverend Hilton Smith. I was honored by BPA 2004. I'm a retired senior vice president of Turner Construction Company, associate pastor, Great Abyssinia Baptist Church. It's so important to this community is because we have to continuously build leaders. We have to continuously understand that we that are here now will not be here in the many, many years to come. And we have to have newborn leaders that have the academic success. We have to have leaders that can depend on the community to fundraise and to absolutely make sure that BPAF should be living on for the rest of these days, because it's been so much for so long to this community. 40 years is a great thing. Young people certainly need to dream. They need to dream about their futures. Then if they dream about their futures and really understand that they can make it, then their futures will be great. We must absolutely understand that when you dream, and when you dream on positive things for your community, you will be maximized and not minimized. It was a true blessing for me to be honored back in 2004 as the Black Professional of the Year, because I stood on the shoulders of so many that were honored before me. And those shoulders were stout-hearted. Those shoulders were not only courageous, but they stood for the best of this community, the best for this country and best for the world. And so I was truly blessed to follow in their giant footsteps. The organization stands tall in our community. The leaders that we have now have gained inspiration and motivation from the foundation. And so we that are here must understand that the foundation must continue to move upward and onward. It must be forward and not backwards. We must be committed to take the organization to higher heights, because the heights of the Lord is involved with the foundation. We should stay humble. That's number one. Number two, we should continue to bring new people along so that they could understand the significance and the magnificence of this organization. Thank you for all of the honorees, Black Professionals of the Year, from 2000 to 2010. And now back to our Gala ballroom.
Thank you, Pastor Hilton Smith, and all of the BPOYs from the 2000s decade. Earlier, I described BPACF awards and recognition programs. Some of the best ways to identify and excel with a particular career field is to observe role models who look like you. But what if you are the first and there are no role models? How then do you navigate through challenges and uncertainty to become the best in your career field? Robert P. Madison, retired chairman of Robert P. Madison International Company, is Ohio's first Black architect. Mr. Madison's career in architect spans 6 decades. His designs are seen throughout Northeast Ohio and across the globe. Mr. Madison is Cleveland's own treasure and will be honored by BPACF with the inaugural Legacy Award, Spring 2021. Connect with BPACF through our website, bpacf.org, and our social media platforms for future sponsorship opportunities and ticket announcements. It's going to be a really special event. At this time, let's take a look at some of the Black Professionals of the Year for the decade of 2010.
Hello, I'm Mayor Frank Jackson. I want to congratulate the Black Professionals Association's Charitable Foundation on their 40th anniversary. For 40 years, you have been serving emerging professionals and honoring the leaders of our communities. I appreciate the significant impact that you've had on our city, the city of Cleveland, as well as the greater Cleveland area. Again, congratulations and thank you for your work.
My name is Dr. R.A. Vernon, founder and senior pastor of the Word Church in Cleveland, Ohio, and I was honored and privileged and humbled to be honored by BPACF in the year 2013.
My name is Leon Bibb. I'm a longtime television news anchor and reporter in Cleveland, having worked at Channel 5, having worked at Channel 3. I'm retired now, but still working as a contributing reporter and contributing commentator for Channel 3 WKYC. And I was given the honor of being the Black Professional of the Year in 2014.
My name is Vanessa Whiting. I am the CEO and president of AES Management Corporation. AES is the Popeyes franchisee in Northeast Ohio. We own and operate 16 Popeyes Louisiana Kitchen restaurants. I was honored by BPA Charitable Foundation in 2019.
My name is Alex Johnson. I'm proud to serve as president of Cuyahoga Community College, and I was honored by BPACF in 2016.
Is Erskine Cade. My title is that I am a partner in 2 consulting practices. One called Strategic Government Initiatives, and the other one is Strategic Healthcare. And we represent clients all over the country. And I've been with them now for about 11, 12 years. And I was honored by BPA in 2017.
I think it's critical that organizations like the Word Church, other businesses support movements like this, BPACF, because the reality is, whether people want to call it excuse or not, persons of color have been behind the 8 ball since the diaspora. Educationally, financially, we have to undergird each other like other cultures do. Get behind it not only with our prayers, which we've always done, but with our money. Honestly, the Bible says money answereth all things, and there are times when People need resources to go to school, to become better. And so those of us that have been blessed to have done okay, shame on us if we don't give back. So I think it's critical that, like other cultures, we take care of our own.
You know, I will tell you that the impression is that a lot of our youth in the African American community are looking for the easy way out, that they don't have aspiration and dreams, but they do. Let me share with you a little bit about my experience growing up. I grew up in the segregated South, in a community where you never had an opportunity to interact with white people. But in my community, we had our own library, we had our own schools, we had our own churches. Now, sometimes in those schools, you get the hand-me-down textbooks from the white kids. But in those textbooks, there was information that allowed you to enter the world of the mind. And that's what we did. It wasn't the best environment because it was segregated, but it was one that we learned from. So what I would say to youth nowadays, that despite the dire circumstances that you face in your communities, in your schools, and elsewhere, there's always something that is positive. So in every dark cloud, there is a silver lining. And if you look broadly, there are young people that embrace that, and they make a determination to use it to their benefit. And as a president of a college, I see every day examples of individuals who have made their way to my institution despite the odds and have taken advantage of the opportunities and become some of the best people imaginable, have become doctors, lawyers, teachers, and the list goes on and on and on and on. So our youth do have aspirations. We've just got to make sure that we surround them with the appropriate experience so that they can benefit from them.
Well, I think that's all part of the Black Professional Association Charitable Foundation's mission, is making sure that that next generation is brought along through scholarships and through a variety of other ways. So I think it's vital that we continue to do that.
It is our responsibility to develop leaders, and that's what BPA does. It develops leaders through scholarship funds, but also through their mentorship program. And I would say to my fellow CEOs, whether it's a small business like mine or whether it's a Fortune 500, we need to develop our future leaders. Who is going to run the corporations? Who's going to found businesses? We need to develop our workforce in Cleveland and retain our young talent. And to do so, we have to support them, we have to nurture them, we have to develop them, and give them a reason to stay here.
First of all, the majority of kids in college today don't even have a major. And so having, that, kind of mentors and the support that they need to help them to develop and to figure out what it is that they want to do. It's important for this reason, is that you find that many kids, what do they want to go? Athletics, entertainment, other kinds of things. And I look at Kamala Harris, her graduating from Howard University. So I think it's vitally important that you have that kind of support. And BPACF can help in that in terms of what they're doing in the communities, working with corporations, working with the clergy, and working with others, but most of all, working with the kids themselves.
The important thing that we have to do now is concentrate our efforts on our youth and make certain that they not only get the education and training that they need, but they get the important personal attention, the wraparound services that would mitigate any type of challenges that they would experience.
What do you want to be known for? How many cars can you buy? How many houses can you buy? What's really important to you and to our community? And I think if you look at the core of what is important for our community in this moment, it will lead you to supporting organizations like the Black Professional Association Charitable Foundation.
You know, if we don't do it, who's going to do it? Who should do it? This is about us. And it's about helping youngsters, especially those youngsters who look like me and look like you.
In terms of what would I like to see BPACF do, I think that they are well positioned. They're positioned better than any other organization, to me, in this city, to provide the kind of not only the financial support, but the mentoring. You know, I would like to see them do more things virtually and bringing students, into that environment. Bring in CEOs, bring in African Americans that have succeeded in these, and have them have that interaction. They can ask questions. Ask them how did you get there? What did it take in order for you to achieve the kind of results that you have, and so forth? So I think BPA is well positioned to do that. And again, I look from a personal experience. My dad was a high school graduate. My mother had an 8th grade education. They didn't have the resources. I was the first graduate in my family from college, the first one. And I remember when I told my dad I was going to school, going off to college. My dad came to me with an envelope and tears in his eyes. He gave me $750. He said, "That's all the money I have." And I said to him, I looked him in the eye and said, "Dad, you'll never have to worry about paying another nickel toward my education." But it's that kind of thing that many kids find themselves in today. And as long as I have breath, I'm going to do everything I can to help. If I have the financial resources to do that, but if it's not the finances, it is being volunteering, mentoring, supporting in any capacity that I find that's beneficial to these young kids. They need it today. They're not getting it any other place. And it's up to us, Black professionals. The Black Professional Association is really well positioned to help in that type of endeavor.
The message that I would send to everyone watching is that this is a necessary organization. I told them the night I got my award to call me every year and get on my nerves and make sure that I give my donation. It wasn't just a one-hit wonder to me. As I was sitting there, Spirit of God said to me, this place is necessary. Again, I hearken back to my earlier comments that it takes us to support each other. And when there's an organization that's doing their best to help persons of color, we need to get behind that, not only with our mouth, but with our resources. As long as I'm at the helm, the Word Church is going to do that.
So on behalf of myself and Leon Bibb, we'd like to salute and thank the other honorees from 1981 to present. And now we'll hand it back to the ballroom.
Wow. Wow.
Incredible.
We have been blessed. We have been blessed beyond all measure this day.
Yes, Leon, honestly, I've had a great time in, meeting and greeting people, listening to different stories. I agree that this was very inspirational. We're not quite done yet. We want to take one last look at exactly how much money we raised tonight.
And I want to tell you, we've all been honored not only hosting with you, but this great organization. And to our viewers and to our live audience out there, we want to thank you for allowing us to come into your home. And I would like to once again bring to center stage the person who keeps us all together, who is the glue holding us all together, your friend, my friend, our friend, Meltris Sharp. the board president of BPACF.
Thank you, Leon. Thank you, Leon. Those were kind words. Oh, there we go. Thank you. Thank you, Leon, for those kind words. And thank you so much, Jasmine and Leon, for emceeing tonight. You two were great. And thank you to our live audience. You guys have pivoted with us. If 2020 have not taught us one thing, it's to pivot with excellence. So thank you so much for staying tuned. And we're going to take one last look at our giving thermometer. This is something to be proud of. So $36,880. Thank you so much for your generosity. Please continue to support us year-round through donations, volunteerism, and attending our programming and mentoring a young person. Visit us at bpacf.org to make a donation and get involved. Also, please don't forget to complete our online survey. You can find it at bpacf.org. Your feedback is instrumental to the work that we do. I would like to bring up our founders to share a few final words.
Thank you, Meltrice. My heart is full tonight. And from my heart, I want to thank my fellow founders, Art and Tanya, for their partnership in this journey. I thank all the past boards of BPA and BPACF and this Board of Trustees. Thanks for your commitment to young people. Thanks to all the past Black Professionals of the Year for their commitment to this organization and our community. I thank each and every volunteer who has served from the past to the present. We could never have done this without you. Thank you, scholars. We're proud of you. Thank you, sponsors and patrons. We needed you. Thank you, trendsetters and lifetime achievers. Your commitment and service have made a difference. Thank you, viewers, who have joined us tonight at this 40th celebration. And finally, thanks to those of you who will pick up the mantle and carry our mission, the mission of BPACF, well into the future. God bless you and stay safe.
We would like to conclude tonight with a toast. So if you will join us, and in closing, would like to say and have us recognize that no man is an island, no man stands alone. It's really important that we stand before you as founders, but we didn't do this by ourselves. You all contributed, and we all thank you greatly for it. And as has been said a number of times this evening, we look forward to you, each and every one of you, picking up the mantle and carrying on. BPACF, 40 years, God bless you.
God bless you. God bless you. God bless you.
Now, thank you again for your time. Now, I will turn it over to our pastor, Sharice Henderson, who will give our benediction.
Let us pray. May the strength of God sustain us. May the power of God preserve us. May the hands of God protect us. May the way of God direct us. May the love of God go with us this night and forever. Amen.